If recovery is a journey,
I would like to take you on a strange journey.
then Shot of Hope Live is your favorite roadside attraction
This is a tasty burger.
on your way to happiness. With your recovering radio outlaws, Mickey the Kid and the Sober Gangster,
We're on a mission from God.
it's Shot of Hope Live.
It's alive! It's alive!
It's alive! We are live. It's Shot of Hope Live. And I got my boy Joel Anthony from the Sober Sessions dropping in. He's going to be filling in for the Sober Gangster tonight, who is, again, on a plane. He's flying. The guy is a world traveler. He's a serious businessman. And then I got my Soul Sessions brother. Joel, how are you tonight?
Dude, I am good, man.
How about this surprise? How about that guy in the little box down there? This guy, huh? Our favorite hip-hop artist, creator of the song Dear Lord. He's got some cool new stuff coming out. I don't want to blow him up yet, but, there's some good stuff on the way because I've been privy to some cool undercover stuff tonight. But this guy, I have seen his story. I've been listening, paying attention to him, and see the stuff he does online. His song Dear Lord captured my heart, touched me. This man, Florida resident, which is I'm down here, so it is. I give everybody the wonderful Arlon Wise, bro. Welcome to Shot of Hope Live.
Thank you, brother. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you, man. And dude, you're so creative. So you touch into the reggae industry. I know you got a Tribe of Zion band. Then you have your hip hop career, and you're a stand up comedian. So we have that in common.
Oh yeah. I'm new
man.
to that world. I'm new to that world.
I didn't even know that. Look, I'm learning stuff today.
Yeah, I got a show this Saturday. I'm opening for Alex Ramundo. He's Ron White's business partner. They used to tour together.
Love Ron White. That's awesome, dude.
Ron White actually invited me up to his television studio, and we got to do a performance for him. He shared my album on his social medias and all that.
Nice.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
Really cool
awesome.
guy. Yeah,
Congratulations on that, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
You got some big stuff going on, and probably wouldn't be going on if you weren't clean.
Oh, absolutely not. I was doing a whole lot of nothing when I was using. That's for sure.
Take me back to the beginning when you first discovered that moment. Where were you? How old were you? And what brought it on?
Oh, I mean, I was 10 years old the first time I tasted alcohol.
Wow.
It was at a family function, and it was my great grandparents' 60th wedding anniversary. There was a lot of half-drank champagne glasses laying around. So me and my little brother got the bright idea to run around and chug all of them. So I was introduced to alcohol at a very young age, and drugs came a little bit later in life. I was probably, I was like 15 or 16 by the time I started really getting into drugs and being experimental and trying everything, basically, anything I could come across.
Take me through the good and the bad, man. Tell me how it was. When did it start to get bad? Like, how long was your career, drinking and using drugs before it came to a crossroad?
22 years I did of drug and alcohol addiction straight. I'd say I really started at about 16 years old. I'd say 15, 16 years old, using every single day, drugs and alcohol, and I did that until I was 37. I didn't have a week off. I didn't have a day off. I was an everyday user for, over 20 years. So it wasn't just one drug in particular, which I was addicted to one drug in particular all throughout different phases of my addiction. But it went from prescription pills to cocaine to methamphetamine, back to prescription pills, back to cocaine, back to meth. Alcohol was always there, there was always a mixture of all the drugs mixed with alcohol as well, and I was a big fan of Xanax. I was a big fan of Loratab, pain pills, barbiturates, opiates, but I only like to do those with alcohol. I didn't like to just pop them on their own. So it was always, a mixture of both in my life. And I started, at a young age, my parents showed me tough love by cutting me off and not by enabling me, which I'm glad they did, which meant just to be able to afford the lifestyle and all the drugs and alcohol that I wanted to take in each week. I had to steal, and con my way into money each week. And, so that came along with the drug dealing, the theft, the violence and all that comes with that, when that lifestyle started. But I'd say
Yeah.
when I got hold of meth is when I really lost all control.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
that
no
drug,
joke.
you'll clean your house and count the grass out in the front yard.
I was a 5-day rider. I would like to stay awake for 5 days at a time, then come down for 2 days. In that 2-day period, like I would like to go Monday through Friday. Like it was a job. Tweaking was a job for me, and it was full time. And so I was there Monday through Friday, clocking in, clocking out. 5 days I wouldn't sleep. And then Friday, Saturday, I go, okay, I got to shut down. I got to sleep for a day or two. My whole weekly intake that I knew at the time, there was $5 or $5 footlongs at Subway.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew if I got me all I had to come up with throughout the week was $5. And if I could eat that footlong sandwich throughout the week, at the end of the week, when I came off my bench, I knew I wouldn't die and I could go another week of tweaking. And that was 2 for $3 Gatorades. So I would drink 32 ounces of Gatorade and then drink another 30. So I would be hydrated and have enough nutrients to get through the week, I guess. And then I would go right
7-Eleven diet, baby.
Yeah.
Man,
I
it's
did that.
crazy.
I got down to 105 pounds, and I'm 5'11", probably 165 pounds right now. I'm fighting weight right now. I'm trimmed down to 160, so 105 was a real, you could see me coming. You knew I was a meth head. You saw me walking down
Or
the street.
couldn't see you coming, maybe. You might have been a little too
Turn
thin.
sideways and he's gone.
I had to run around the shower just to get wet,
Yeah, man.
Dodging raindrops.
bad. And then, started, getting into fist fights, all the violence, then with my meth mouth plus violence, losing teeth, getting them punched out my face, getting into all that messy stuff. And I got real big into violence in my mid to late 20s were just really violent years. And that was mostly cocaine, liquor, prescription pills, and ego. Was in that time.
Yeah, ego's a good drug too, man.
Probably the worst drug I got. Sheesh.
I think ego, man, it is the Achilles heel of every man.
Yeah, I still got to keep that in check and battle with that constantly. I can never let my guard, just like with my addiction, I can never let my guard down towards killing that ego too.
Right. Yeah, man, we all got something to work on. We all got, like I was telling you a minute ago, man, still to this day, like I still a little bit of trust. I still have a hard time trusting, and I do my best. I do everything that I can to try to understand, look, this is who I am, but like I got to be more trusting in people.
That vulnerability. It's
man.
it's a motherfucker, dude. When you ran the streets, and we dealt with specific characters and fighting for our lives.
GTA, man, you don't trust anybody. Everybody is your enemy. Even your own family is your enemy when you're an addict.
Yeah.
And all they want is love, man. They want you to do good. I feel, I don't know, man. It's crazy. I'm so glad that we're all here, though.
Yeah, man. It's a different story, man. I mean, Arlon was reaching out to me earlier, he was just telling me how he's heard my story, man. My story, there's nothing unique about it, dude. I mean, alcohol leads to cocaine, leads to nobody likes you. You know what I mean? And you wind up in jail, and shit gets bad, man. Next thing you know, you're smoking crack in a 4-bedroom house by yourself.
Yep.
With
maybe a steel chair. That's about it.
Yeah.
All your furniture's gone.
So tell me about life growing up. I know you were born in Louisiana.
Yeah,
right?
Born and raised in a very small town. I grew up in a town of 400 people.
Wow.
So, it's an incredibly small swamp village.
Bayou town.
Outside of the city of Monroe, Louisiana, in North Louisiana, up near the Arkansas state line, up on Interstate 20. And it was a real rough city to be in and out and around, especially for a small town country boy. But there was to live a life of an addict, I couldn't do that in a small town, so I had to get to the city where the action was, where the drugs were, where the nightclubs were, where all the dealers were. And as a young musician, I had a lot of doors open to me, so I was welcomed into the clubs at 18, 19 years old because I did music. So I didn't have to I could drink openly. I was a bartender. I started bartending. I still, to this day, I started bartending at a very young age. At 19 years old, I was bartending, so I was allowed in every club. Between music and bartending, I was getting alcohol anytime I wanted. Drugs were flowing. I was a drug dealer by that age. I was, selling tons of everything. And then it got into trafficking. It got into nationwide crossing state lines with thousands of pills. And and like I said today, I put a post up today that I made a career as a criminal till I was 30 years old. From a teenage years until I was 30 as a career criminal, and mostly dealing drugs, but there was other stuff as well. But the biggest plug I ever had, I posted this today, was Crooked Doctors.
Yeah.
And that was the most money I ever made off was Crooked. That was the biggest plug I ever had.
Especially in the 2000s, late 2000s, man. I mean, mid to late 2000s was crazy.
Through 2010 is when I was doing all that stuff, and it was just wide open.
Yeah, that was down here was where a lot of that stuff got started with down in Florida with the pill mills.
Oh yeah, Florida's known for it. And then when I came, so I was in Colorado and I was getting treatment. I was in addiction classes. I was doing like alcoholics and drug addiction. It was addiction recovery class. I was doing anger management, weekly group meetings. I was doing anxiety, depression, weekly group meetings. I had a counselor, I had a psychiatrist. But then once again, I was put back on the benzos. I was on the Klonopins. Then I'm snorting them again instead of taking them. I'm not taking them for 3 days. Then I'm taking 3 days worth and drinking a bottle of vodka. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, yeah, I'm taking my Klonopins, but not properly.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
They're getting all gone though.
Yeah, they're gone though. At the end of the month, I need more. You know?
Yep.
We're gonna get those bitches gone tonight.
But they made me ultra violent. You know, benzos and alcohol made me a violence, and I had
Deadly combination.
And, you know, I grew up with some violence. My dad was a real rough guy, and I grew up around I had a really strict childhood between my father being a strict disciplinarian and a real tough guy. And my mother was a super strict Sunday school teacher, Southern Baptist. So I had a super strict, childhood. But then as soon as I got sent to boarding school, I heard your story, and my God, man, I mean, that's some incredible stuff that you went through, and I can't imagine. So it made me feel blessed. The type of abuse I went through was through loved ones at my own home. As weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
crazy.
So I got sent off to a boarding school for gifted and talented kids. So it was a blessing. It wasn't anything like that. It was a real positive thing. And I was around all these rich kids that had all this culture, and they also had
I would have liked to gone to that school.
I know, right? It's the polar opposite of what you
I went to Father Jabald School for Boys in Terre Haute, Indiana, where Charles Manson was.
Yeah, that's insane. And I heard some of the abuse there. And like I said,
sexual abuse, watching two guys 69 in the shower floor at 3 a.m. when you go to take a shit at 14 years old. I mean,
that's fucking
some
wild,
shit that fucks your head up, man. I always tell people, man, I created every reason I wanted to use for as long as I wanted to. I mean, if you had my childhood, if you've seen what I've seen, if you've had this done to you.
Right.
And when you fall into that self-pity trap, man, that self-pity trap will keep you trapped for a very long time. The greatest prison that one can live in is the one in his mind. And
absolutely, dude.
I was always the underdog my whole life. I grew up little. I was smaller than every kid in junior high and grade school. I fought all the biggest kids. I wanted to be on the football team. I tried to fight everybody to earn like a lion. I always tell everybody, I said, man, I have a fucking lion that lives inside me. You don't know about him. You ain't met him, but you've seen him. You've seen him. You ain't met him. I don't introduce the lion to everybody. The lion only stays at the house, because I'm the king of my domain. The Serengeti is my home. And I protect my family, and I make sure that I'm out there catching food, catching dollars to feed my family and take care of my home right now. But man, I had to stay out of that prison, recently having moved to Florida, dude, I got anxiety, bro. I'm going through it a little bit. I miss my wife, I miss my family, but I video conference call with her every night, man, and as much as we can, and and just let her know that the man I am will never disappoint her like that. So, so that's where I'm at. So you stay in it, but continue on with your story, dude. So you're at this boarding school.
And yeah, like I said, I got open. Growing up where I was from, there was meth, coke, and prescription pills, but there wasn't all the LSD and the mushrooms and the ecstasy and all the
fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff I'd never really been introduced to. I was only around the grimy stuff that ruined lives. So then I got into this party sensation of drugs where I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. This isn't
the party drugs, man.
And the coke and crack that I see my relatives and surrounding people do in my life that made me say, oh, I'm never going to do that. These guys were having fun. This was a different type of drug use. So I got neck deep and I went all in and I just went overboard with everything. And then with that addictive personality came out of me where I had to have it. And I wanted to black out. I wanted to do as much drugs as you possibly could. I wanted to take it to the limit every time. I didn't have to me, if you couldn't go all the way, there was no point in touching it.
I ain't got it off.
Been there, man. Shit, been there.
If you had a gram of coke and you wanted to meet and you wanted to party with me, and like just a gram between us two, like
right. Yes, dude, we sound alike. We sound alike, my guy.
Yeah, it got out of control. And then so at that boarding school, like I said, it was totally different than what you went through, but it was it really gave me some freedom and away from that strict household where I could just go nuts. And that's exactly what I did. I went nuts for the next 2 years. And then I graduated, went to college at LSU, and I was 3 or 4. I was even further away from my family. It was 4 hours away from everyone I knew. So I could go even wilder and further off the deep end.
Yeah.
You know, so I just wanted, once I got that space and that freedom, I just lost it. I had no control.
Went off the rails.
But then, like I said, after my 20s, I went to the meth, and I hit rock bottom on meth. My band fell apart. My life fell apart. I was in a 5 or 6 year relationship that fell apart. I found myself living in a house with no running water and no electricity, dead of winter. And it went from September until like February or March of the next year. Until I moved to Colorado, I lived the entire winter in this place that had no heat. I mean, no electricity. I had it was grimy as hell. And I was 24 years old, and I'm living in a trap house with no, like I said, no water, electricity, no amenities. And that went on for way longer than it should have. And I was just, man, I'm at rock bottom. And this band out in Colorado that we had toured with, my band had toured with, and their band had toured with before my band broke up, they said they needed a singer. And I had the opportunity right then and there. I was like, man, I'm at rock bottom. I'm in Louisiana. I'm 24 years old. I gave my music a shot. Nothing ever happened. I can't seem to make anything work. So I just packed up my bags, and they sent me out $100 for gas. It was 2005 or 2006. And I just packed it all up and moved to Colorado and left and started over. But I didn't, my recovery didn't start there. I just got worse. I got worse there. I went to more LSD, more cocaine.
You just weren't done yet.
No, not even close. And so that was like 25, 26 years old out there doing tons of coke, doing tons of acid. And then I'm 26, I moved to Boulder, Colorado. I was just selling drugs full time, selling pounds of weed, selling tons of prescription pills, tons of cocaine. I was making trips from Louisiana to Colorado with weed. I would go to Texas to get a couple thousand pills, bring those back to Colorado, get more weed, bring that back to Louisiana, doing like a triangle. Just
I
got violent. I became real toxic with women. I was sleeping with 3 or 4 women a day, had sex addiction issues.
No.
I mean, everything you could touch was just, and I was an addict in everything that I touched.
Everything in life, except the positive shit.
I know, right? And then fist fighting, I felt like, and I grew up a scrawny kid too that got bullied. I got, violence and abuse and physical abuse here and there. So I had something to prove. I had a chip on my shoulder.
Yep.
So once I hit a growth spurt and I had a little weight to me, and I had hands.
Get them hands to flying.
And I said, it made me feel powerful and strong and tough to be violent upon other people. Now I'm not the victim. They're the victim, so I wanted to pass that on. And so I just got real aggressive and like bullyish from like 25 to 30. And then I got into an overdose situation when I was about 29, and I prayed to God. Well, I had some shit go down in my late 20s that made me want to get out of crime. I saw some shit in the crime. I thought I was going to be a career criminal. I was going to be 72 years old, still trapping. Like, I got some people in my life that I've seen.
You'd be in prison.
I don't know. I've seen some people make it to 60, 70 years old and still be selling drugs and still be living that life. It's rare.
Yeah, it's ultra rare. Motherfuckers are legends if that's the age.
It's facts, but I got an uncle right now struggling with addiction, and he's got grandkids. He's got 10 grandkids. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen it where you can make a lifetime out of this, and I thought that was me. I was like, I'm going to make a lifetime. 27, 28 years old at this time. I'm 28. I went to college for a couple of years. All that, I dropped out just to focus on crime. I was a musician. I pretty much gave that up to focus on crime. Like everything, crime was number one. Music was here. Family and friends were here. Like, that was my bread and butter. That's how I paid my bills. I didn't care about much else. It was exciting. It was the chaos, the adrenaline, the power. So I felt all these, but then I saw some shit where some shady stuff dealing with gangsters. You know what I'm saying? I was a tough guy. But I wasn't a real gangster. I was no killer. And then when I started having to get cheap pounds from guys who are killers, and you in the room with them and you hear some shit and you see, and I was like, I'm not that. I'm no killer. I got a heart. I'm compassionate. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I got a conscience.
And I saw a killer. I was 28. This 18-year-old kid had like 10, 12 bodies. Suppose, you know what I'm saying? You talk is talk. Yeah. You're in a vibe, and you say, okay, I don't doubt this kid has done, you know what I'm saying? So I saw shit that I didn't want to be around, and then I was like, man, this ain't for me. Like, I'm going to end up I'm in too deep at this point. So I started easing my way out of crime, and it took years. From the time I decided I was going to quit selling drugs and quit doing crime, it took me probably 2 years, 3 years before I actually did, and before I stepped away completely.
Right.
And that took just the addiction to the whole lifestyle. The lifestyle is what sucks us in.
Absolutely.
You ain't been hustling that long, man. You know, it takes a minute.
I know, right? And I'm 30 when I wake up finally, and I woke up by having a bad overdose, and I was living in Colorado. A situation I was living with, it was an endless supply of coke. We could do as much as we wanted.
Sure.
So me and my buddy were splitting a quarter ounce a night between two of us, 7 grams every night. Boom, 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 boom. And it got such a
Quarter ounce
so
is
no
a lot of fun.
And sometimes there would be a third or fourth person involved, but a lot of times it was just us two. So then it got down to where I could do a whole 8 by myself.
Yeah.
Easy. So then I wanted 5 grams, and that's where I fucking overdosed. And I'd been doing Xanax, I've been doing Lortab, I drank a bottle.
Bro, I used to do 2 grams of 2 grams of fucking coke before a flag football game, and I played middle linebacker, dude. I would be out on this flag football field in fucking this hot Florida sun, dude, just fucking big veins coming out of my neck, just like motherfucking Lawrence Taylor, dude, just standing there waiting to rip a bitch's head off.
I'm running off the field if I see you, bro.
Yeah, dude, I was an aggressively violent flag football player, man. Motherfucker, I can't tell you, they suspended me a couple times for 3 weeks, you know, for games. I couldn't show up on Sundays. Couldn't even be at the field. You know, that type of shit, you know. Me and this dude Clayton, man, my dude, man, we would see who would have the better coke. We'd each bring like 2-3 grams, you know, to the field, and we'd be taking key bumps and fucking lines off of doing it off of CD cases in his fucking.
Oh, I remember those CD cases.
Yeah, them CD cases, man, boy. You know, you leave a lot of dust on there, though, man. You can never get it all, you know. But
I used to go back and lick them when I was Jones.
Absolutely, dude. I opened the glove box, dude. I've licked the inside, the back, the other. Take the cover out. I think we used that one side. No, that tastes like shit. You know. Yeah.
And I was a recovering germaphobe too. That's how I knew drugs like meth and coke had really gotten a hold of me, because I was doing some grimy shit. And I was like, bro, I'm fully aware of all the germs involved in this. I'm freaking out on the inside, but I gotta have it.
Man.
Bro.
That's addiction. Addiction don't give a shit how you really feel, man. As long as you get that fix, fuck it.
Feelings aren't facts.
Yeah, no shit.
Listen, we don't give a fuck. It doesn't give a fuck how you're feeling. It's
Feelings
like the fact is we need to get high. And you're my bitch, and I'm your slave.
And we're gonna get fucking high.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it went.
That's how it went.
I say it all the time, by any means necessary. You know?
Says it in the basic text of Narcotics Anonymous, buddy.
That's it, man.
By ways and means to get more. That's all we know is more.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that lifestyle, man, that captures you up, dude, because when you start sporting a few bands in the pocket, you know, and you start getting a taste of that money, you know, when you got the money, and then, you know, and then you got the party, and then you get the pussy, and, you know, now you're Mr. Party with all the pussy at the party, and every place you walk into, people are dropping your name. Hey, Arlon's here, or whoever's here, you know. It's a lifestyle, dude. It's an absolute lifestyle, and so many people get. My kid, I'll tell you a great story, since now that we're here today. So my son's been he's been on a 12-year run, fucking shooting fentanyl, snorting heroin, you know, shooting heroin, fucking smoking crack, shooting meth, you know, anything he gets fucking hands on. And got busted a year and a half ago with 2 freezer bags full of methamphetamine, 2 ounces of mushrooms, 100 Xanax, and about $8,000 in cash. And took his Xanax before he left his apartment, passed out at the gas pump, fucking pumping his gas inside his car on a cold winter day. Wakes up to, you know, knock, knock, knock on the window, opens the window, you know, dough just goes flying out because he fell asleep on the steering wheel like this. And he never traveled with his backpack. This day he took his backpack. So drug trafficking charges, long and short of it, he gets probation. The judge says, look, I don't want to put drug addicts in prison. You know, that's not the proper place for you. So I'm going to offer you this opportunity to get clean and stay clean. And if not, you've got a suspended sentence of 3 years. And so he's ghosted his PO for the last 6 months, and decided today he was going to go to treatment. But on his way to treatment, must have fucking shot some dope or whatever. They get him to start asking him his name and shit. He ODs in treatment at the desk, signing, you know, getting the information. They take him to the hospital. The hospital sees that he has got a capias. Guess who shows up? The law.
Bro.
And next thing he knows, he's handcuffed to a bed waiting for fucking Cuyahoga County to come get his ass an hour and a half away to take him to fucking county to detox off of heroin, fentanyl, and crack cocaine.
That's going to be rough. That is
detox.
going to be one
Dude,
rough fucking
if you
detox.
And I was thinking this. I didn't say it to him because he's my son and I love him. But in my head, I was like, if this doesn't fucking be the fatal straw, like this pain, because he's going to be in fucking pain, dude. He's probably in pain right now because he's been without the substance. He's not feeling normal. Guaranteed he's dope sick by fucking midnight tonight.
Absolutely.
And tomorrow he's puking shit and fucking miserable, cold shivers, the whole
shaking
deal.
like a motherfucker.
Yeah, he's just fucked. So
damn.
So, man, I've seen what addiction does. I've seen what it's done to my son, and there's nothing. I put him in 9 different treatment facilities, 3 to 4 different halfway houses. Fucking, I've tried to help him in every way, man. And there's no wine before his time. And if you running, Karma doesn't forget an address. She will find you.
No. They will find you.
She will find you.
Damn, bro. My prayers for your son. I hope he ends up like the rest of us.
Bro, I am so happy. Because I don't have to worry about if I'm going to get that call from the coroner for the OD, for the death. Yeah, damn. For the he's deceased. And that, dude, that was the greatest thing when he called me up. Oh, Dad, you got fucking my girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And the cops got me fucking locked in this bed. And I'm just like, in my heart, I'm going, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. You got him off the streets. You got him off the streets tonight, man. There's no more chances of him to fucking get that shit and fuck his life up anymore. And, and even if he goes off to prison, dude, motherfuckers find God in prison.
Yeah.
We find God in prison. We find God wherever he is, man. So tell me your story. You find God at some point in this. Because, dear Lord,
that was one of the when I was working my way out of the crime lifestyle, and I got too hyped up thinking I could handle all that coke, and I'd already drank a bottle. I heard you mention Jaeger in one of the podcasts earlier. I was a big Jaeger head. Yeah. I could drink 15, 25 shots of Jaeger in one night. I could drink a bottle of vodka besides that. Then I could take 4 or 5. 10 was my number of Xanax bars that I would allow myself to take. I would take up to 10 Xanax bars. And I've only done it 3 or 4 times in one night, but that was my maximum. That was my ceiling. For Xanax on lower tab 10s, pain pills, the number was 18 that I could do in one night. And then the cocaine use was an 8-ball, but then I tried to go 5 grams along with all those pills, along with all that liquor, and I overdosed. And I didn't have, so I'm vomiting. I'm sticking my finger down my throat trying to stop, and I'm praying. And I hadn't, at this point, I'm like 28, 29 years old, and I haven't been close to, I grew up with a religious background, but I've been off the path for a long, long time, over 15 years. And so I just pray to God in the only way that I know how. And as I'm overdosed, blacking out, fading out, I say, dear Lord, if you please, I'm so sorry. I knew I'd fucked up, excuse me, but I knew I'd taken it too far, and then this could be it. I'm like, okay, I'm knocking on heaven's door, and I want to scream, but I couldn't scream. I want to walk and go I got roommates. It's a huge house though, and I can't scream. It's a weird feeling because I was semi-aware. So I prayed in that moment, dear Lord, I know I put music on the back burner. My bands broke up. There was no Tribe Zion for a couple of years. I'll put my band back together. I'll focus on music. I'll stay healthy and positive. And I knew I couldn't give up. Even at that point, even overdosing, I know I could be taking my last breaths on earth, and I still couldn't bargain with God to give up drugs or alcohol, either one at that point. I wasn't giving them up even under those circumstances. I said, dear Lord, please, I'll give up making a living off of crime. I'll give up making a living off of crime if you allow me to wake up tomorrow. The next morning I woke up and I knew that I took that serious, that bargaining. Yeah. And I woke up the next morning. So I packed up my bags. I had a connection in Florida with a guy who wanted to start a band back. So I moved from Colorado back down south to Florida, and I started over. And I wasn't clean by any means. I still used for another 8 years. Yeah. But I gave up crime right then and there. So that was the first step. I said, okay, no more making.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah. And absolutely, now I'm 29 years old. My work experience is, I used to bartend back in the day.
Right. That's all you got.
I've worked a couple of odd and end jobs when I hit flat and used up all the drugs I was supposed to sell. I had
I'm a great delivery driver. If you need a delivery driver, just fucking call me, man. I'm just looking for $20 an hour to deliver your newest shit to wherever it's got to go.
So I started off as a janitor. I was mopping, sweeping, cleaning toilets, taking out trash, and that's humble. I got to start at the bottom of this.
Job.
Be a productive member of society. I got to start at the bottom. So then I worked my way up to a bar back at a bar. I was cleaning restaurants and bars after they closed, sweeping and mop them, cleaning the toilets, take out the garbage, doing janitorial work. Then I worked my way back into a bar back situation, but that was only because a manager of a bar saw me get into a fist fight. So I got hired into a bar as a security / bar back situation. Then I worked my way up into a bartender again after like 10 years.
Old
of not
Slim
tending
Pickens working the door.
I know, right? Well, they saw me. I got jumped by 5 frat boys, and I'm only $165, but I knocked out 3 of them real fast and just pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
And the guy said, "Are you hired?" I said,
One,
"What the fuck?" So I got a job off of a crazy fist fight I got
That's
into.
funny.
But then once I got out of Florida, like I said, it took me another 8 years of just using drugs and alcohol still every day. I developed bleeding ulcers shortly after moving to Florida. Now I'm 31 years old. I got bleeding ulcers. I'm vomiting blood. I'm shitting blood every day. I would still take pills. I would still snort. I would still drink every day. The doctors told me, "You're going to die. Your health is," I had migraines. I had just terrible health, nausea daily. I puked every day for over a decade. Every single day I threw up every morning. I got my teeth rotted out the back.
Of course,
of my head.
you eat the enamel right off them bitches.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then I'm getting punched in the mouth every other weekend too from my
spitting one
lifestyle.
out.
You know, I don't win all the fights. I mean, I'm not Superman. I'm gonna catch something to the mouth here. I lost 6 teeth in one fight.
Shit.
Spit them out. Yeah, I mean, it was.
That meth will get you.
It's crazy how some of that shit like doesn't stop us, you know, because like you were just saying, bro. I remember like every day for years I would throw up. Like I'm surprised I don't have throat cancer because I would. And like I was telling my wife this one time, it's gross, you know, and I hate to say it, but like I remember there'd be mornings I'd take Yukon Jack Nips and fucking down them, and in the process of downing them, I would throw up. But I'd fucking swallow my puke because in my fucking brain, I'm like, I can't waste this alcohol. I can't waste this shit, you know? And I swallow my own throw up. I'm like, that's normal people don't do that shit.
No.
I can't say I can't say I hold any kind of candle to that.
You know,
this
like,
fucking I just for something in you Massachusetts, you New Englanders, man. You know, I mean, there's something up. So you guys are hardcore motherfuckers up there.
There's something, man.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes, but man, like I said, I just kept on and kept at it until I got arrested. And a Tri-County area, there's like the Tri-County area. I live in the midst of. I got arrested in all 3 of them.
Okay.
You know, and I'd already been to jail in Louisiana. I'd been to jail in Colorado. And it was little. And like I said, I heard the sober gangster story, and mine's kind of the opposite, where he said he got caught everything. I never got caught. And I said I did so much and escaped so much and just walked away from so much that I should have never walked away from, and got so lucky so many times. And I did a night or 2 in jail here and there, this county, but I should have did years or 2 in jails. Many, you know, I was just so blessed, and I knew there must have been a greater purpose, or I should still be locked up. Even the reason I got sober was running from I got sober in the back of a cop car, running from the police. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a tough situation where I said another one of those prayers.
Foxhole prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, just get me out of this, and I promise I will.
Yeah. And luckily I'm one of those guys who takes those prayers seriously. And when I say that, I know even if I don't like it, I didn't like the fact that I gave up crime. I wanted to still deal and steal and rob drug dealers and you know, collect for debts for other drug dealers and get paid half the debt. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to keep, I was living for it, you know, but I knew I promised to God I'd walk away. So I had to walk away. And then 8 years later, I found myself in a situation where I wasn't even drinking. I was probably on pills that day, but I had a big bender. I went 2 or 3 days of drinking, playing shows with my band. We were playing over 150 shows a year. So some weekends we're playing 3 or 4 shows in one weekend, and our shows are 4 hours. So I'm singing for 4 hours at a time. Sometimes we'll have 2 in one day to keep that false energy. And I run in place. I give it all when I do my Tribe Zion shows with the band. And so sometimes I needed false energy. I needed Lortabs. I needed, you know, cocaine. I needed Jaeger bombs. I needed a dozen Jaeger bombs. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It was the serotonin drained out of the next day is when I was a real beast and I was real shitty to be around. Was it after I'd been on a 2 or 3 day bender and then you know what I'm saying? Like to be around my wifey and stuff, I would just rage. You know? And so that's when I was tough to be around. I have a lot of anger issues, and I couldn't control them during those times. I would just rage.
Yeah.
And so that's finally what
that doesn't have a rage without drugs. You know, I mean, fucking, you know, and the humiliation. You know, the shit that happens, dude. Like, man, I remember my wife had left me in 2018, and Remember, she invited me over for dinner. I hadn't seen her in like 3 or 4 weeks. I blew her off, gave her all the excuses or whatever. She said, "Why don't you come have chicken dinner? I'm cooking dinner tonight. You could probably use to eat a home cooked meal." So I go down there. Maybe it was a steak. It was steak, I think it was. And I go to her house, and I said, "Oh, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna use the bathroom." Meanwhile, steaks are on the table where we got the TV on. We're watching a movie, TV show, or whatever it was. And I walked in there. I wasn't in that bathroom maybe 60 seconds. I got my pipe out. I'm hitting my pipe, and the door opens up. She goes, "You okay? Everything okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then there it goes. There goes the smoke, and she just was like, "Give me it.
No.
Give me it." Smashed the pipe outside of her patio on her walkway. Never. Dude, I was just an absolute piece of shit, man. And
Yeah.
I'm just glad I don't have to live like that today, man. I'm glad you're not living like that, Arlen, man. You're an inspiration to a lot of people out there, man. Anybody who's listening in earshot of this podcast, man, if you don't believe that you have talent, tap into it. Just try. Man, all it takes is just a little bit of effort just to tap into that bitch, man. Just try it once. Try stand-up comedy. If you think you're funny, try write it. Kiss your balls about 5-6 weeks in a row on the stand-up stage. Find out how, it's because what that does is it builds character. It gives you courage. Now I got the courage. Fuck the crowd. I don't care what they do. And now I got to write some funny shit that maybe they'll laugh one night, or man, I'm going to just get deep into my feels and write some fucking really beautiful shit tonight and drop bars on everybody, and now you have an incredible catalog of events that you can draw from for probably some of the most, man, I'm talking Bob Dylan of hip hop shit to fucking write.
Yeah, man.
That you haven't even written yet.
No doubt. Yeah, so much to tap into from past experience.
My wife just wrote in the
happened,
Yahoo
it could be a
chat.
greatest
She
hit.
said, "Still love you, babe. Still love you, though, babe." She's obviously watching the podcast. It's cool to see that. Because there was a time where I was unlovable. Arlen, you can relate.
Facts.
You can
Facts.
relate, Joel. There's a time where we were unlovable. And we would come home and we would tell the 3 big lies. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. I promise.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we would say that all the time.
How often did we keep those promises?
Never. They were the 3 lies we told every time we came home.
Never.
I'm sorry. It won't happen again. I
Won't
promise.
happen again. Next day, happen again.
Yeah. A couple hours
said it
later,
wasn't gonna happen.
after
No
sleeping.
shit. Yeah, you wake up and you're like, okay, all right, I'll go back at it.
I could have a beer. So here we are. So how did we get to Dear Lord, bro? Tell me about Dear Lord.
That's what
That
I wanna
motherfucking song spoke to my fucking heart, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I watched it. And I like both versions of the video, but I think I like the second version better, the one where you're sitting in the park.
Really? Bro, I like the first one. I
I like the
questions
one
after.
in the church.
Continue.
Don't get me wrong. Hey, we can duke it out right here on it, man. But I like the creativity in both.
Oh, thank you so much. And my video got shout out to him, T. Williams.
Oh, T.
Mr.
Williams!
Yeah, and a shout out to Jay Pats who made the beat.
Jay
He's a hell of a
Pats.
dude.
The dope beat, dude. Dope beat. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
both of those guys. I couldn't do it without them. And shout out to the PA system, Pineapple Infinity, for the mix and master. Those guys are all the team. Always comes through. But yeah, that song, believe it or not, that came from a TikTok duet. I followed Jay Pats on there. That's where I ended up buying several of his beats and doing songs over the beats. But I found him from TikTok. And I
Okay.
was doing a duet over the TikTok beat. That I heard that Dear Lord beat, and I was like, man, I gotta have this. I messaged him immediately, purchasing the beat. And then during the time, my wifey, we're not married. We just
I
been
get
together
it.
for 7 years.
We get it.
you
I already know
so,
what wifey means.
Yeah, that's right.
We all in the same
That's
boat.
hood wife.
Yeah.
So she's got 2 children. I consider my stepchildren. And
Beautiful.
The oldest one, Ariana, she's 21 years old. A couple years ago, about a year and a half ago, her boyfriend got into a really bad car accident, and he was in a coma. And he was 19 years old when it happened, maybe about to be 20.
Yeah.
Kids, and seeing her go through that and how strong she had to be, and seeing him go through that, and then at this point, too, I've been sober for a couple years, but my first couple years sober were very angry. I was freaking pissed. You know what I'm saying? And I had to deal with that a lot. So I wasn't very close with God those first couple years. I was trying to figure out why I was so mad. You know, and what was going, what I had to forgive and what I had to process and deal. What have I not been dealing with that has all this anger still front?
Oh,
and
buddy,
center?
that's what
You
we
know,
deal
and
with in a 12-step program, man. It's that you know, you get into
and
that
that's what
fourth, and fifth step, man. That inventory,
Time to dig
and then the
deep.
character defects and the
that's what-
shortcomings. Fuck, you get to
And
it.
that
You
is-
get to the root.
And part of that is why I believe a 12-step process is something I should check out. And I've always been interested and definitely want to go that route at some point because I think those are important steps. So sometimes
It
I
just helps you get deeper. Just helps you go
Yeah.
deeper. That's all.
Cool. So yeah, I was facing a lot of that stuff, and I was trying to figure out. It was basically like a cry out to God, like, "Are you even listening?" Because I know I was off the path for a long time, but then I got on the path, and then I expected that too. I'm not gonna lie, like nobody really guided me in getting sober. I didn't have the 12 steps or the AA. I didn't have a sponsor, so I didn't have anybody telling me that you had so much to deal with those first maybe year or two.
Oh
'cause
man, the first year is the
flooded,
worst
man.
year.
You know, and I was flooded with so much emotion and so
Yeah.
much stuff I put
Raw.
off. And it was,
Yeah.
man. And I did a lot. I started doing self-harm, something I
Yeah, you get sensitive, dude. You're because you're not in touch with them feels. You've been numbing those feels for all that time, and crime, and you know all the harm you've done yourself. That man,
started
now all of a
feeling
sudden
what you
here
feel,
comes a
you know?
overload of raw emotion.
Yeah, I got hit by a tsunami of
Yeah.
emotion,
Yeah.
of all emotions too. And then I had this hive condition. They say it was from stress and anxiety, where my whole body be covered in hives, and my body would start shutting down. This happened up to 10 months at a time, where I'd have these hives. It would last for months, and this has happened like 8 or 10 times in the past maybe 20 years. And so this was
Getting
going
any
on.
pussy
They put
that
me on
week.
prednisone, these steroid pills they put me on. It
Yeah.
brings out the anger.
Oh,
And
the
after like
prednisone.
yeah, and then I do the weekly cycle. They had me up to do 9 weekly cycles, and after like the 5th or 6th cycle, I start feeling crazy. Well, then I start feeling like super elated, like I'm the highest I've ever been. Well, then it comes with a big crash, and I go crazy. I self-harm. I get angry. I try to fight oncoming cars in traffic. I mean, I just go crazy. So the last time I got hives, I had to learn how to deal with that naturally. I said, you know what? I'm not taking the prednisone, even that chemical in my
Poison.
sobriety.
It's all poison.
It's all poison. And
That's
I'm
all
sorry,
doctors do. Is all they know how to do is prescribe poison.
That's just like
And
the
that
song
script.
says. And that's what I was writing in the song, that a lot of my addiction comes because when I was a kid and I went to a doc, I had mental health issues. I deal with mental health issues. I've been dealt with a lot of diagnosis, but I feel like when I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, that was kind of the most accurate. But my old lady's studying that stuff right now. She even says that I have a mix of different things
Your
going on, which
wifey?
I feel like we all can or do.
Mhm.
But you know, so I trusted these doctors to help balance me out, and they wanted to make me a freaking zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted it, and I had to turn to, even at 18, 19 years old, they're offering me these. I don't know anything, and they even offered me lithium. And now
Wow.
looking back, like y'all were gonna I'm a songwriter. Like I was trying to be a musician. You were gonna give me lithium, and they gave me therapy.
You'd be writing jazz songs at that point. Them motherfuckers.
No. They gave me antipsychotics, mood stabilizers, antidepressants, sleep aids, anti-anxiety.
Sheesh.
But the only thing that made me feel like a narcotic, that made me like a buzz, was those anti-anxiety pills. So I couldn't get enough of those, and I abused those for like the next 15 years or so.
So, dude, there's a great non-narcotic anti-anxiety pill that I used to take. And it was called Pristyq, Pristyq or Prystiq. I'm not sure. Non-narcotic, non-addictive, and you can stop it at any time without having to be weaned off. That shit was fire. It was gas. I think you can still get it too. If you ever have that issue again.
I just went back to therapy when I was going through that part of my sobriety. And I want to say I really enjoyed the podcast you did with your wifey. And man,
Oh yeah, way back. Yeah, that was last year,
powerful,
year
man.
before.
Yeah, and I got so many experience when we first started dating. She was living in LA, so I was no good boy. I was running wild all week, and then when she would come home, I was lying, manipulating, gaslighting, doing the same toxic behavior stuff. So I really related to that, and I thought that was a really brave conversation to have. And I thought that,
Bro,
oh man, powerful, man. And I think
it's a
us
heavy
men
combo,
really
man.
learn-
When we did that show, man, it was like, sometimes you think it's too soon, but it was just like, let's just get raw and let's get vulnerable. And I wanted to do a show with my
man, I
wife.
was
And
over here sweating watching it, man. I was like, wow, this is powerful, man. This is.
I tell anybody, man, if you've been going through shit with your wife and you guys are on, feeling like you're falling out of love with each other, watch that episode. Learn about it. Learn about why you are the way. Watch the video. Go if you ever get a chance. I don't know if you saw the YouTube video, but you might have heard the podcast. But if you watch the video, go watch.
I didn't watch it all the way to the end because I was going through each of your episodes and getting about 30, 45 minutes of each to get a feel for
getting the cliff notes. My boy was getting the cliff notes.
Get my last minute studying. But yeah, it was amazing stuff. And I saw you. I had an incident with the guy from Puddle of Mud one time. Even my addiction. My wife, she's a student now. Yeah, she's a student now, and she's a graduate assistant at the.
There's an addict who I don't know if I'm just waiting for that news story.
Right? And she's also a flight attendant in her past. Well, I was flying to London. I was blessed to be able to travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I was using pretty heavy on a lot of these travels and don't even remember some of them. And this was one of those trips where I blacked out most of the trip. And I kind of got into it with him on a flight. We were kicking it at first, but then
he's got a little attitude, dude.
And I do too. You know what I'm saying? So we were too much alike, possibly, that it just didn't end well. But it didn't get physical. It came very close. But I have nothing but I just worry. I don't have any bad feelings. Uh-oh.
I think he wanted two guys fighting on an airplane.
Oh, I lost you for a second.
Yeah, no, you're good. We're good. Am I back?
We're back. We're live.
Oh yeah, I thought we lost you too, Mickey, for a minute. I'm like,
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids from around the world, he's the greatest engineer in electronic history. Mickey the Kid. No, all right. Anyway, I always got jokes, man. Fucking, life is too short, dude.
Got to enjoy life.
Yeah, I'm just glad you made it, dude. I'm glad you're on this side of the dirt, because there's guys that you probably know that are not here anymore. And as I always tell Joel, my favorite line is, I'd rather be a statistic of recovery than a casualty to my disease. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing.
True, man.
You just you don't ever want to have to deal with that, and doesn't matter if you're sober, clean, California clean, whatever people are doing out there in the world, man, whatever your journey has for you, as long as you're happy and as long as God is you're walking with God, man, in some way, shape, and form in your life, and you have gratitude every morning when you wake up, man, what more can I ask for? I've got the breath in my lungs, so God gave me life today. He gave me my health. He gave me a roof over my head, food in my belly, money in my pocket, the ability and creativity to be, hip hop artist, a comedian.
Open our eyes this morning, man. That's the first thing I say.
Amazon guy, whatever you're doing, dude. We need Amazon people too, bro. I mean, everybody's everybody, man. And you know what, dude, you're more than Amazon because you're here with me.
Dude, that's it, man.
Dude, you're good at talking. You're good at touching people's lives, dude. Your videos captivate me as well, Joel.
Dude, those car videos, man.
I'm privileged to be sitting here and allowing, and being allowed to share time with you guys.
Oh, absolutely, man. I feel the same exact way.
That's my man. I just started something that I thought the world might, if I can help one person doing it, and then I make friends along the way. I made friends with this sober gangster, and then Rachel from the one, and then Joel, and now I have Arlon Wise, and next week we got Julian Bryant from Beyond Driven, is a fitness guy, and man, I'm just trying to meet people, man. I'm just trying to carry a message of hope to people out there. And I love your message of hope, Arlon. I love Dear Lord. It's my favorite. It's my. I can't wait till you put out a whole album.
Bro, that's a banger. I'll tell you. I listen to it on the way to work sometimes.
Yeah.
And it just pumps me up, dude.
It gets the day started, bro.
Because I don't know about you guys, but like I wake up, I say a quick prayer every morning.
I used to trust my dealers more than my doctors.
Dude, absolutely.
That fucking line just hits hard, dude.
It's true. It's absolutely true. And Arlon, you're proof. I was telling Mickey one time, people think there's like this magical fucking method to getting sober. You got to follow these steps and you got to do this, that, and the other thing. Bro, like you said, you've never really done like the 12 steps. You got sober. You knew you had to get sober. You became disciplined and you fucking did it. Yeah. You said you were going to do it and you did.
No matter what.
You don't have a magical method. I see that a lot. People are like, well, I just can't get sober. How do I get sober?
Because I can't stop quitting on myself. That's why you fucking can't get sober, because you can't stop. You didn't quit on your drug dealer. You didn't quit going to his house and giving him money and putting new ice on his fucking wrists and rims on his car and fucking clothes on his kid's back. But but when it comes to your life, you just quit every fucking 5 minutes. Fuck it. Get out of here.
I tell people all the time, like, and maybe it sounds harsh, and that's just who I am. Like, I bring out that grittiness.
You're just a raw dude.
But, like, I tell people, why can't you get sober? Because you can't say no. You can't say no.
It's a one-word
Find
sentence.
out how you want to live your life, and everything that doesn't involve that, say no. Peace. Cut it out. Whatever the fuck that is, just get out. Like, say no. And that's it. Like, that's all I can really tell people when they're like, I can't. You're right, because you can't say no. And that's really what it comes down to.
Amen.
What life do you want to live? Find that life. Do everything possible by any means necessary to gain that life. That's how I look at it. But that's just me, But you're proof, man. You're proof. There ain't no magical method. Just
even my mother said that she really believed that I would die from addiction. That would be the
my mom said the same thing, bro. If my mom's listening, she said the same thing.
I've said the same thing to my kid.
Yeah.
My mom used to get phone calls, and she used to say to me, she'd be like, I'm waiting for that one phone call to say you've died. She goes, because I get phone calls. You're in the hospital. You're in the ICU. You're back in the hospital again. You had a seizure. You had another seizure. My mom's like, sooner or later, I'm going to get a phone call saying, your son is dead and he's at the funeral home. We need you to identify
It's at the morgue.
Yeah. So,
I had that line about I used to trust my dealer more than I trust my doctor. That actually went a little deeper than that too. I had a drug dealer at the time, right before I got sober. And this, in Florida and Louisiana, Colorado, I'd never been cut off by drug dealers. In Florida, they cut me off twice. These guys were carrying, man. I was like, you guys are really carrying.
Dude, my dope man cut me off too, but see, because Vic, I can't sell you crack no more.
I was like, drug dealers do that? You're not a bartender, bro.
Right? There's the limit.
So yeah, I know, right? So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. But this drug dealer of mine, he was selling Xanax to me. I was buying 100 Xanax bars a month, and a lot of times that wasn't enough. I was having to re-up. Well, this time in 2016 through 17, 18, the fentanyl started coming through, and that's when he said, "Hey, Arlon, I can't sell you these. These are cut with fentanyl. These will kill you." And I said, "Does it have Xanax in it? I'll take 100. I don't want to hear your bullshit." And so that was the conversation. And I used to cut fentanyl patches open with a razor and suck the fentanyl out back in the day. Yeah. And so we were doing fentanyl back in 2006, 2007. So I didn't really think it was a real big deal until the epidemic came through.
Right.
Was a time where I still bought Xanax for another year and a half, 2 years. I thought that was really cool to at least give me a heads up. That stuff is something we have to bring awareness to. I really want to speak in my music to the kids need to know that the drugs you're buying might, be cut with that stuff, and it's killing people left and right.
100%.
And one of my new songs addresses that and talks about that everything's cut with fentanyl and these kids are dying and too many moms burying their kids.
That's it. Parents shouldn't be burying our kids.
So we're gonna get a full record.
What's that? What was that?
He's like, what do we do?
Oh, we lost your audio again.
Yeah, Mickey, we lost your audio.
Yeah. But yeah, the Dear Lord song is off my record, Call Me Arlon. It's off my AY's album, Call Me Arlon. I just released about a month ago.
Dude, when I first heard that, I fell in love with it. I'll be honest with you. I fell in love with it. Actually, here's my question for you, bro. So that first music video, right? You're in a church. Is that a church like that was close by your house? Did you go to that church? Like, did you know those people? Or did you just walk up and go, hey?
No, that's a video guy. It's a local family that he knows over in his side of town, and it's a family funeral home. So we went and filmed it there.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, because I was wondering. I'm like, wonder if this is like a church he goes to, because if you're from a small town, it looked like a small little church. So.
No, yeah, that was over in Pensacola. I live in Fort Walton Beach, so it's about an hour from here. I shoot a lot of videos over there.
There you go, dude.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. My video guy T Will, like I said, he does a killer job, and he got my foot in the door at the funeral home. I'm not even the lady who ran the funeral home. I don't know if she really what was going on. She was like, "Well, you're."
Is there a rapper in my church?
We were bumping the track, and,
Yeah.
and it was. I'm definitely the black funeral home. It's like, what is this white boy doing? And he's in a suit. He's rapping, but they just let.
Yeah.
It was cool.
So we can look forward to a full rap album at some point.
Oh yes, sir. I actually have I have 4 rap albums on iTunes and Spotify, full albums out there right now. I got
Sweet.
AY's Love Is War, AY's 1,000 Days, AY's Mic Control, and the most recent one, AY's Call Me Arlon.
Super. So that at least we got something to look forward to.
Oh yeah. I got some new music coming too. I've been recording this past week or two.
Yeah. I'll be listening to that when I'm out there delivering.
Yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky we get to hear his music.
I know.
Such a great message.
We're lucky to be alive, all of us, man. All of us.
I agree with that. Arlon, where can we find you?
Oh, it's on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, CD, wherever you stream music through. You can find all my music. AYA WISE.
Okay.
Tribes I Am band. We do a lot of shows in this area.
And where can we find you on YouTube?
AY's and Tribe Zion is our join page. We have all our music on there. I have my comedy stuff on there, my hip hop stuff, my band stuff. It's AY's and Tribe Zion. It's all consolidated there.
Dude, you're an incredible human.
Awesome.
Great story tonight. Knock my socks off. Just hearing the whole thing from your whole story from behind, to life of crime, to where you are today, and
it's a Grady story, bro.
all the shit you've been through, man.
You know?
It's impressive.
It is, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud that you're here, man. Like I said, there was no magical method. You just knew what you want out of life, and you were tired of living the fucking, I say it all the time, the meaningless, mundane circle, that vicious circle, bro. You had enough,
Yeah.
and you stayed disciplined.
And
You fucking are, bro.
But I am privileged and blessed to have a strong support system with my wifey and her family and my family, my brother and my band.
Always matters, man.
Co-workers.
Always.
I'm so blessed to have so much love and support in my life. So that's also a real cheat code. And then having music has been a real blessing to keep me focused and out of trouble.
Every man needs a wifey, brother.
Yeah.
Every man needs a wife. I think the woman is what holds men together.
And to
It
be
is.
honest with you, the day I got sober, she's the one who called the cops on me.
Yeah,
And-
that's how it goes.
It's tough love.
And
Tough love.
I thank her for that, because
Yeah.
I was raised, I was breaking shit, I was throwing shit, just raging. And I grabbed my pistol and I ran outside. In my world, I'm going down to 400. You go out in your yard, just fire off a few shots if you need to blow off some steam. But here in Florida, in the city limits, they don't really like that type. I didn't
Can't
fire
be
off.
doing
But
Yeah.
next thing you know, I'm running from the cops. They're chasing me.
Oh yeah.
I ditched the gun. I got pills up. Well, then when they arrested me the day I got sober, the cops chased me and arrested me. I got caught, which I've ran from the cops several times, been caught several times, and it can be pretty rough if you run from them and they catch you. I've gotten the crap beat out of me really bad for that. So I was thinking that was going to happen, but the last time these local guys caught me, they were very kind, and they didn't beat the crap out of me or be rough or anything like that. Instead of taking me to jail, they said, well, you're going to hurt yourself. You're not a threat you're not going to kill nobody else. You're probably going to hurt yourself. This boy's crazy. So I was in the moment at the
Crazy
time.
white boy.
I couldn't really calm myself. And they saw that I wasn't a threat to anybody else. I was more of a threat to myself. Yeah. Else, so they took me to the loony bin.
Oh wow, you got lucky.
Yeah, I shouldn't say that. They took me to the But yeah, I got real lucky, because so at the time I'm in cuffs, I got pills in my pocket.
Yeah.
I'm in cuffs, so I go to take the pills and I can't, with the cuffs on, I can't reach them. So I had to pop my shoulder out and then take the 2 Xanax bars I had in my pocket, because that's 3 years per pill in Florida. I could have got 6 years. So I had to pop my shoulder out of the socket. Then I had a bag of weed in the other pocket. I had 5 bullets in my pocket. So I dropped the bullets and coughed, kicked them under the cop car, under the seat of the cop car. I'm sure they found those at some point. I had a bag of weed. I shoved it in my underwear. I mean, I was just a mess. And they took me in, and they could have really stuck it to me, and I could have really got some time.
You're fully covered.
I know, right? at the mental health, I was still a con artist. I wanted to get back to my drug and alcohol health facility. They were going to keep me for 72 hours in Baker Act, and I talked my way out. I said, no, I got this Jesus tattoo right here. So what you're doing is holding me against my religious beliefs. So for you to say I was going to kill myself is an infringement on my religious beliefs, and you're going against my religion to say that I was going to go against. I couldn't kill myself. I couldn't enter the gates of heaven. So this is my religion. I'm going to need to talk to whoever's in charge.
Wow.
So they pushed this monitor. This is before COVID. This is 2018, and they pushed this monitor in with this guy on a computer screen talking to me, and I tell him the same shit. And within 2.5 hours, after running down the street with a gun, with drugs on me, being chased by the cops over a domestic call, being arrested, took to the mental health facility.
Sheesh.
2.5 hours later, I'm walking down the street free. And I promised God in the back of that cop car, I said, dear Lord, I know I can't. My band's got a show on Friday. It's Wednesday. If I go to prison, we got 50 more shows for the season. I got a job. I'm going to lose everything if I get locked up.
Yeah.
So I prayed once again. I hadn't prayed that prayer since I gave up crime 8 years prior. And I said, dear Lord, if you let me get out of this, I swear. And at this point, I was desperate enough. And I said, I will give up drugs and alcohol.
Wow.
And 2.5 hours later, I walked down the street and I called my old lady. I'm like, baby, you got to come pick me up. And she's like, what the hell? You're free? I was like, yes, I'm walking down the street, a free man. Come get me before they change their mind.
That's God work.
And
right
I
there.
did. Yeah.
Amen
Tell me
to that.
how does that happen? So I knew I was given a second chance of life, not only by those officers, but by the man upstairs himself. And I really felt that way. And I felt that if I were, and I had 100 freaking Xanax in my nightstand in a baggie. I had bottles of Jaeger. I was still a bartender. I had a bartend the next morning, and I had a detox while pouring drinks.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
who's man?
Yeah.
One of those, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody got an extra pour that day.
Yeah, man. So, and then I would come across pills when I'd clean up. I came across pills for years because I had stashes all over the place.
Did you ever eat one
Yeah,
off the
dude.
floor?
Years I clean. What's that?
Did you ever eat one off the floor?
Oh, as a user, I ate one off a parking lot floor that had been rained
Carpet
on.
scrapers,
dissolved.
bro.
And I
Carpet
like,
scrapers.
Goodness.
Oh, as an addict,
crazy.
I was terrible.
Yeah.
I was snorting off of toilets, snorting coke and meth off of toilets. Horrible
Anywhere we can
stuff.
get it, bro. As long as we're not licking the soap wrapper in the
I'm
fucking
recovering drug
men's
smoke,
bathroom.
too, so that's what. Like I would have guilt about it later. I was like, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Can't believe I snorted that line off her ass.
Yeah.
I probably got E. coli.
Yeah.
Back of that-
Yeah,
Back of that
exactly.
toilet in the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, instead I got pink eye.
I know. I got some pink eye jokes coming up this Saturday.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Fucking Arlen,
Shit.
dude, don't be a stranger. You're always
no
welcome
doubt.
on the show.
Thank you so
Love
much
to
for
have you
having me,
back
man.
again.
You're both legends.
You're an absolutely incredible human being, a talented musician by far. I can't wait to see more of your work. I can't wait to enjoy the embodiment of your messages that you're going to put out, just like a little sneak peek at some stuff tonight that you sent over. And man, you've got a really bright and resilient and brilliant future. So, man, you just keep carrying the message of hope, dude. Keep helping the homeless. Keep doing the stuff you do. You do some really
Hell
cool
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, you want to close out with another prayer, bro?
Yeah, let's hit it. Let's hit it, Joel. Give me some prayer. Drop some.
We'll drop some. All right, yo. Dear Lord, we thank you for the day that you've given us. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Thank you for watching over us and keeping us safe, along with our friends, our family, and all the people that we surround ourselves with. We thank you, Lord, for giving us a second chance at life. We ask that you be with those still out there sick and still suffering, and that you help guide them into the light, that you bring them to recovery, that you let them see the same life that we live, Lord, that there is a way out of this dark, vicious cycle, that we can recover, and that we do recover, and that we will recover. Because I can, I will, and I must stay sober. Lord, we ask these things in your name, and we thank you for bringing us all together today, bringing Arlen to us and us to Arlen. Lord, we thank you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hell yeah.
Arlen, I look forward to seeing you again, brother. And I have your
Absolutely,
number in my
bro.
phone, so we're going to talk more than that, dude. And I hope you'll save my number in your phone. And if you ever need a guy like me or Joel, man, we're always here.
If you need cars.
Yeah, if you need a car, come see me. I'm at Victory Lane Chevrolet. Here's our first plug of the week.
There it is.
Yeah. Come get a car from Mickey the Kid. Shot of Hope Live. Anyway, boys, just hang out for a second, man. We're going to close this thing out with a little outro. And, man, thanks for joining us on Shot of Hope Live. Check us out at shotofhope.live. Shot of Hope Live on Facebook. Shot of Hope Live on Instagram. Shot of Hope Live on Twitter. And you can find us on everywhere podcasts are heard. Yeah, Apple, iHeart, Spotify, TuneIn, everywhere. So we'll be back next Wednesday with Julian Bryant. So make sure you join us 7 to 8 p.m. right here at Shot of Hope Live.